Cruising in my lane fast, call it high speed. I've been working hard, yeah, I've been working nightly. If you think you'll win, ha, not fucking likely. I be taking shots, yeah, cold-blooded, icy. Watching numbers grow is what I call sightseeing. In the front row, run it up when they hype me. The following grows, they know how to ignite me. Call me CEO, I've been running shit right, see. And I ain't playing games, I create my own lane, making pleasure out of
G'day and welcome back to the channel Ginger Ninja's Movie Reviews. I am the Ginger Ninja and these are my movie reviews. If you're new to my channel, thank you very much for tuning in, stopping by and checking it out. It is truly appreciated. And if you're wondering what we're doing here today, well, we're looking at the Resident Evil franchise for Franchise Friday and we're over the halfway mark. We're into the home stretch now, we're into the last 3 films and we're kicking it off with Afterlife, which came out in 2010. Now, this is my Blu-ray copy here. It is a steelbook. Obviously the film's in there. You've got Axeman on the back and you've got Miller on the front playing Alice, and you've got one of the new looking creatures. Hopefully you can see that. If not, I will pop a picture of it up on the screen. Now, let's get into this, shall we? Directed by Paul W.S. Anderson, the film stars again Millajovovich, alilarter, wentworthmiller, boriskodjoe, kimcoates, Sean Roberts, and many more. Now the plot, and I did take this directly from IMDb, but I did adjust it because the wasn't very grammatically correct. Now, while still out to destroy the evil Umbrella Corporation, Alice joins a group of survivors in a prison surrounded by infected who want to relocate to the mysterious but supposedly unharmed safe haven known only as Arcadia. So one thing I do enjoy about these films is they do pick up pretty much straight away or pretty close to when the previous film finished. If you look at Resident Evil, the first film, Alice in the hospital, Resident Evil Apocalypse, Alice in the hospital, Resident Evil Extinction. It takes place well after the events, 4 years. So there's a bit of a gap there, but they do bring it back to what happened in Raccoon City, and this one takes place directly after Extinction. So it's pretty much, following the same trajectory that they set out. Will it continue on for the rest of the film? I don't know, but we'll find out. Anyway, there will be spoilers ahead, so if you haven't seen this film, please do yourself a favor, go check it out. The film delivers exactly what fans of the franchise have come to expect. Action, a dash of horror, and a touch of nostalgia for those familiar with the video games. Now, let's have a look at the cast. This is a tough one. As it is with a lot of these films, they do have a lot of characters in them, and you do have your main character, Alice, played by Millajovovich. And she reprises her role with the same badass attitude we've come to love. Like, she embodies Alice. She wasn't created, well, she was created for the films. She is not a video game character. So they had a lot of freedom to do with what they want with her character, and she kicks ass in this role. Her character's evolution is intriguing, but she still remains the beating heart of the series. alilarter, reprising her role as Claire Redfield, adds continuity to the series. However, the characters in general, they feel somewhat one-dimensional, and the focus on the action sometimes overshadows any character development. The addition of new characters should inject fresh energy into the narrative, but they don't, as there is very little time to develop any backstory. Again, it's serving them up as mere fodder for the rampant zombies and T-virus infected monsters. Particularly a mainstay of the game, such as Chris Redfield, and who was portrayed here by Wentworthmiller, a fantastic actor. But he's not given enough room to shine here. he does good with what he's got, but it's not enough. The arsehole of the group, Kim Coates, is slimy enough as a Hollywood producer. And boriskodjoe he plays a nice guy hero, potential love interest as well, but the three of them overall are not given enough to work with, and that's a huge misstep in the film. And now on to the directing and the writing. So the narrative of Afterlife maintains a very fast pace, keeping the audience engaged throughout. However, a lot of the storyline may feel somewhat predictable to those familiar with the Resident Evil universe. The plot doesn't necessarily break any new ground, and there are certain twists that may be anticipated by seasoned viewers. The film also leaves several questions unanswered, although that is setting the stage for future sequels, particularly that cliffhanger ending. Now, 3D. I'm not a fan of 3D. I've said it before. I just don't know why. I just do not like it. Maybe it's because I wear glasses anyway, so putting 3D glass over them, it's annoying. And whilst 3D does have its place in some movies, it's not required for these films, and its use takes away from what could be a solid action movie with a well-delivered story. Now, while the film does feature some visually striking sequences, some of those 3D sequences, some of those slow motion sequences, the reliance on spectacle comes at the expense of substance. The action becomes repetitive and lacks tension that a well-crafted plot and characters would provide. The film seems more focused on showcasing the slow motion fight scenes than building a compelling world or exploring themes that made the video game successful. It sacrifices well-developed characters in favour of flashy visuals and over-the-top action. Now, that's not to say that's a bad thing, because why are we watching this? Over-the-top action. We want to see, these kick flips that, Alice is known for. We do want to see that, but there are some parts, and the opening sequence for one is a huge one for me. This opening scene, the entire opening sequence in Tokyo, I could have done without, as I get why it's there. It sets up Alice reverting to a more human, more relatable character. The addition and subsequent elimination of multiple Alices, just not well done. And, well, look, let's look at the effects that we used in that, shall we? Okay, so the effects. And my big issue with this movie's effects is the opening scene and the rather lackluster effects used. The CGI heavy opening just looks tacked on and really takes you out of the movie. It does not start out well. The scenes look pasted together with a clear separation of colour between multiple Alices. As you're watching it, you see they've obviously used heavy green screen or blue screen, whatever. And I understand that, but it's so CGI, it's overly CGI. And to be honest, it just looks like absolute shit. As with the previous installments, Afterlife is heavy on action and horror. The film is packed with intense fight scenes and gun battles and creative kills, but the use of slow motion in some of those scenes, it does give it a very stylized feel, but the effect can feel overused and detract from the intended effect due to its overuse. As they had in other, editions of this series, they prioritize action over horror, and the scares are more about the jump scares and tension through genuine horror elements. The zombies, they retain their creepy, menacing presence, but the introduction of the Majini zombies give an almost alien effect to them. And while these are known to the fans of the game, there's no clear explanation as to what has happened. We're just there they are. They've got these things coming out their mouth now instead of just normally biting people. But yeah, it would be a big surprise to those unfamiliar with those creatures and expecting a traditional zombie. The Axeman and Wesker's infections add new elements to the movie and do create a more heightened sense of impending doom and dread. But my question is, did the Axeman make the giant axe after he was infected or before? And if it was before, why? If it was after, is he smart enough to do that? Like, there's a lot of unanswered questions with these creatures. Like, I don't know where they get... I get where Nemesis got his weapons from. He was created by Umbrella. Did Umbrella create the Axeman? He looks a little bit... He reminds me of Pyramid Head in this film. Like, he's got that kind of very similar look or feel to him, but not as menacing as Pyramid Head. Rewatchability. This is a good entry in the franchise and follows up from Extinction quite well, apart from that opening scene. I get why it's there, I do, but doesn't make it any more enjoyable. It's just shit. Doesn't need to be there. But look, if you can get past that, this is a solid entry into the franchise, and the Alaskan and Los Angeles settings are really good. The prison environment is very reminiscent of Dawn of the Dead or The Walking Dead, with a building surrounded by hungry, flesh eaters. It's an old one, but it's an effective one, and it makes it a familiar but thrilling and entertaining ride through a zombie-infested apocalypse. Overall, look, this is not going to reinvent the wheel, but it doesn't need to. It's a fun addition to the franchise. It delivers a promise of action, horror, and a good time. Whether you're a long-time fan or just looking for a popcorn flick with a kick, this movie's got you covered. Overall, for a score, I would give Resident Evil Afterlife a 7 out of 10. There you have it. My review of Resident Evil Afterlife. What did you think of this film? Have you seen this film? Are you going to see this movie? If you have, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. We'll love to hear your thoughts on these movies. So anyway, before I dribble on too much, thank you very much for watching. If you could, please do give this video a thumbs up, be much appreciated. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell so you're notified each time I do release a new review. I'm doing my Franchise Fridays, obviously. I do have a few watch-alongs planned. They're coming up, so keep an eye out for them. And of course, I've got my Trashy Tuesdays and my 60-second review. So there you have it. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Bye. Overall sacrifices, characters, or well-developed